art easel with a moving paintbrush. So there's a magnet on the tip of the paintbrush, and then there's a magnet on a piece of wire. That part isn't really that pretty or artful at all, but you can have the little magnet underneath the nail so it attaches to the one in the paintbrush, and then if you move the wire around, it will move the brush around the canvas or paper or whatever it may be. I love this. I went with a really fun splatter print on the actual fingernail. It's got a very basic little flower on the piece of paper, but you could do anything you wanted. You could like do a replica of the Mona Lisa if you wanted for what's on the easel. You could have so much fun with this. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. If you are interested in those magnets, I do sell them on my online store. The exact same thing that I use in all my videos, and I can put a link to that in the description box below, so check for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
So we are going to begin with a background of a pure white acrylic. So think of something that is, you know, bright white, plain white canvas is kind of the idea. So you just want something that will make it a really nice, smooth background color. That color will not need to be encapsulated, so you can go ahead and file it into shape with your e-file to make sure that it is nice and smooth and exactly the shape that you want it to be. Now in a nail form backing, we're going to be sculpting all of the pieces for our easel. You need the big part of it, the back of the easel that's going to support the paper or canvas. Use some kind of a neutral color, either a tan or a brown, or well, I'm using kind of a beige color, something that is going to give you the essence of either a wooden background, a wooden base, or just something neutral is kind of what you're going for here. So once you have that rectangle sculpted, obviously it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is far from perfectly rectangular. Then you're going to want to sculpt a similar, another piece that's the same color, the same width, and just really short. That's going to be for the part of the easel that sticks out where the canvas would rest on at the bottom, as well as a place where you may want to stick your paints. Personally, I would never stick my paints there, too high of a risk of them spilling, but you do see that a lot. So we're going to set that or sculpt that piece. Then you are going to need to sculpt the little vials or the jars of your paint. So you're going to pick some colors. I would choose some colors that are going to be complementary to whatever it is you intend to paint on your canvas. So like I said in the intro, I kept it really cutesy and childlike, very just nostalgic. If you wanted it to be that way, I would go with primary colors, as I did. Yellow, red, blue, and then just because for some reason green is always added into these things, green as well. And plus I decided to do a flower and green will be included. So you're going to do those colors. If you want to do something like the Mona Lisa, I would go with richer colors, you know, like a dark blue maybe, an umber, black, cream, something like that. I would not go with these really bright scholastic type colors. After you have the colors of paint sculpted, you're going to use some clear acrylic to go around them as if the little jars of paint are partially filled. If you wanted, you could make them different fillnesses. You could, oh my goodness, words. You could sculpt them so that there was maybe just a little bit of blue in the jar. The red could be all the way full, that kind of a thing as well if you wanted to. Then you're going to take and you're going to glue the platform part to the bottom of the easel part. I did not record this particular step, but you may want to file, I certainly did, file the shape of the back of the easel with a nail file, just a regular straight edge nail file, so that it has nice crisp straight edges instead of the craziness that I had going on before. After that bottom piece is glued on, grab each of your little vials of paint and you're going to glue those to the bottom piece sticking straight up. So much 3D happening just in that couple little steps here. It has so much depth to it, and it just looks so cool to have this piece that sticks straight out and have the little jars of paint sticking sitting on it. I love that. So we're going to do them. I actually switched which order I glued them in versus what order I sculpted them in. I did not want the yellow and the green too close to each other because really the colors are very similar, and I wanted to give them a little bit more space so that it didn't look like they were, I don't know. I just thought they needed to be spread out a little bit. So after you have all of those done, and those are all glued in place, you're going to want to secure the whole thing together with some clear acrylic. Really make sure that you secure the little vials in place. You want to make sure that you secure, just really make sure everything is not going to move on you. Even as I'm securing things, I have my little jars moving. The nail glue, I use such a small amount so it dries quickly so that I'm not sitting there holding each piece for 12 minutes that it does not glue very effectively. So once I add the clear acrylic and that cures up, then it's great. But before that, it's just a little hinky. So make sure you do add that clear acrylic so that it doesn't nothing falls apart on you. Then you're going to want to glue the easel to the tip of the nail. Hold that in place until that glue really starts to grab. Once it's good enough where you feel comfortable letting go, flip that over. You may want to support it with a finger if it's still a little wobbly, and add some clear acrylic going from the tip of the nail off onto the easel to make sure that that is secure as well. Do not take that clear acrylic too far because it'll interfere with the movement of your magnet when we get to that stage, but do have that clear acrylic, make sure that it's going to stay where it's supposed to be. Now back to your nail form backing, we're going to be sculpting our paintbrush. Make your paintbrush large enough that when it's moving around the canvas, the magnet doesn't look out of place on it. So the paintbrush is comically large compared to your easel and your little paint jars and everything else, which I think is fine. I think it actually adds to the whole, overly cute design of this. But if you are more worried about how big the brush is compared to the canvas, you may want to shrink it down slightly. The one thing to keep in mind with that is like I said, the size of the magnet, you want it to be somewhat hidden within the tip of the paintbrush. So now we're going to take and flip that over after it's been fully set up, and you're going to add a second layer to the back side of this to make it nice and rounded out so that if you look at it from any direction, it does look like a round paintbrush and not like it's got a flat side on it. Now we're going to place a little magnet on top of your nail form backing, pick up your paintbrush, place it on top of some clear acrylic that is on top of the magnet so that you're securing the magnet to the brush. Place your paintbrush down onto the canvas or where the canvas will eventually be. Have a magnet on the underside of the acrylic easel, and then with some clear acrylic, I'm going to get some more clear acrylic. You're going to secure a piece of wire to the magnet on the underside. So you have a magnet in the brush and you have a magnet on this wire stick on the underside. That way, when eventually you get to the point where you get to play with this, you can move the wire stick and the magnet will drag the brush on the top of the canvas around. So it does this really cool effect where it looks like the brush is moving on its own volition, or there's a ghost that's doing it, or however you want to think of it. It's cool. Then after that's done, I'm going to apply a layer of matte gel top coat over the nail just to kind of get that ready for when I add the splatter paint. And then with white gel paint, I'm going to be painting my canvas on top of my easel. Just don't go all the way to the very edges of your easel as far as the top and the sides go. Leave a small gap, go all the way to the bottom into that crack from where the platform of the easel and the back meet. And then after you have a little outline of that with your white gel paint, you can go through and do another layer of just filling in the center with a bigger brush. When you're doing this, I would recommend using a gel paint that does not require a top coat. The reason for that is that if you have another layer of this, if you have to apply top coat, then you're going to be adding more and more and more and more thickness. The more thickness you add, the less successful your magnet connection will be. So try to minimize your layers. Even if you're doing something crazy detailed like the Mona Lisa, try to just simplify it if you can in any sort of way so that it isn't a gazillion layers of gel built up, because then it's not that the magnet won't work, it's just going to be a little less successful. I am flash curing these as I go. As you see, I'm trying not to add multiple layers over anything, just single layers as much as I can. I've got a green stem, a red flower, yellow sun in the corner, and then I added a blue center to my flower, which I missed on the recording. So now with our same colors, the yellow, the green, the red, and the blue gel paints, we're going to be adding a really just funky splatter print over the nail. Cure after each color and do a full cure this time. There's going to be some double up and some layering on this, and you don't want there to be any pockets of uncured gel. And this is, again, like I said, it's a gel paint that does not require the use of a top coat. So you have a very nice matte background nail with these shiny paint splatter prints on top. Really cool effect. I love how that turns out. We've got some yellow splatter painting now, and then finally I'm going to be doing some green. When you're doing the splatter paint, remember to have fun with it. There's really no rules. Just add some crazy splotches and you're good to go. On my paintbrush, I'm going to be adding yellow gel paint to the area of the clear acrylic that's hiding the magnet. That way it just looks like this color that's being currently used is the yellow. You could choose whatever color you like. And then once you are all done with it, you can have so much fun with this nail. As you can see, that little magnet on the stick can kind of hide under your finger if you don't want anybody to know it's there for a moment. And then here we go. So if you have the two pieces separate, if you just hold them up close together underneath, it will snap on really quickly and it'll just then paint around. It is so much fun. I can't even explain to you guys how much joy this design brings me, just because obviously as an artist doing things like this that really embody the you know, the essence of what it is I love to do gives me a huge smile on my face. I hope you guys love this design as much as I obviously do. And if you do decide to do a recreation, please, please, please share it with me on Facebook or Instagram. It always makes my day when I see those. It's just so rewarding to see what you guys make. It's always a big smile on my face. So please share them with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.